Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Anime Club. Hey, I'm Kris, and that's Phoebe.
Oh, I'm Phoebe.
You're Phoebe.
I'm
How you
Phoebe.
doing?
Yeah, all right, thanks, mate.
Oh, good.
Nice to be back here in Anime Club, which is my safe and happy space.
It's my safe space in the stinky, disused art classroom.
Yeah, that is where Anime Club takes place in our
And
own
art goes
internal
to die.
podcast canon. Yeah.
You're looking very nice and goth today.
Thank you. I've gone back to my teenage years because of the anime that we will be reviewing today.
Oh, were you a teenager in 1998?
No, actually, I was a child
So is that.
because I'm so young.
Oh,
But I first discovered Trigun, or became aware of it. I never actually watched it until we were doing this podcast. This is the
yeah,
first time I think I've actually sat down and watched the first 3 episodes.
because we've got a bit of a two-part special kind of thing going on today. Today we're covering the 1998 anime Trigun because you've never seen it.
Because I've never
And
seen it.
next week, because I've never seen it, we're doing Trigun Stampede. Was it 2019? 20?
2019, yeah, 2019
It's
reboot.
recent anyway.
I think maybe even later than that, maybe 2023 or something. This is
Or
the kind of stuff professionals would look up, but we're just here because we're part of a club, so
we're just clubs.
we're just clubs.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Alert. But yeah. So we'll watch the first 3 episodes, or you watch the first 3. You were meant to anyway. I'll watch the first 3 to remind myself, because it's been that long since I've seen it.
When do you think you first watched it? Because you're a big fan of when we talked about possibly doing Trigun.
Yeah.
You were quite taken by the mood, right?
Right. So yeah, because it was purely fueled by nostalgia. Because I saw it when I was about 16, and I haven't seen it since. I just remember loving it. I think I've seen it about twice, but I have not watched it in the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Oh,
But it was good. It was a nice little fuzzy
did you like
nostalgia
revisiting
trip.
it?
Yeah. It puts you back in that time where, before COVID, before nasty things, before having a full-time job.
Yeah. Having to pay adult taxes.
Yeah. Sorry. Something caught in my throat there.
Chris famously hates paying taxes.
But love Jimmy Carr. But yeah, should we get into what it's about?
Yeah, let's try again.
Actually, since you've seen the first 3 episodes, what do you think the main plot is, just from the first 3 episodes? Because I'm going to try and make a point from this.
Okay, so the main characters, Meryl and Millie,
Oh yeah.
are going around trying to figure out whether insurance claims are valid, and they come up against the natural human disaster. Disaster. Vash Stampede. Although at first there's some confusion. Who is Vash Stampede? Is he some big guy with a mohawk? Is he some blonde guy who hits on every woman that he sees? We don't know.
Yeah.
And my guess, if I were to pretend that I hadn't seen the reboot,
Yeah, pretend you haven't, because it's different actually.
It's totally different, and I'm going to imagine it goes in a very different direction. Vash ends up becoming ends up doing some sort of insurance dodgy dealing, and Meryl and Millie have to bring him to justice. That's where I thought this was first going.
Right.
I suspect it will be very different.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
So
but it gives me Western vibes. It gives me post-apocalypse. So there's
Mm.
like instantly I'm in like this is like there are different sets of rules for this universe.
Yes, yes. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll not mention the new one till next episode, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So Trigun's like a sci-fi Western anime set in a desert planet called Gunsmoke. It follows a Vasha Stampede and two insurance adjusters,
yeah.
and some other characters, which you'll find later on. Going around Gunsmoke as Vash tries to find out what happened to his brother, and he's finding like secrets about his past. See, I don't want to give it away because you're in the process of watching it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were your first impressions seeing it?
Some first impressions were
Mm.
I really loved the characters, even though there is that kind of it's like awkward flirting thing that happens, which is in a
Yeah,
lot of anime from this kind of era.
right.
Because you see it in the Dragon Ball as well. You see it that kind of like just let's just flirt with anything that is a
Mm-hmm.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so setting that aside, I actually really came to like be quite attached to the characters quite quickly. I thought they're
Yeah.
quite everyone seems to be trying to do the best that they can and trying to do the right thing, or at least like the main characters that you follow. Um, there's a little bit of mystery early on about like certain like who are certain sort of figures in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the other thing that I kind of thought, which I really liked, which is a again very typical of like 90s TV making, is it's a
Mm-hmm.
bit more episodic. So you can watch like a single episode as a contained story.
Yeah.
So even though it does have like a broader story running through it, they're much more self-contained, I think, stories from this era. And you see it in like, in things like Charmed, Doctor Who, the Star Treks. Like you get that monster of the week vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
this you have like a bounty of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I think because of that, it's probably quite a good anime to pick up and put down.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Do you
not
know what I
many
mean?
episodes of this. It's not like a One Piece or a
No.
Naruto or anything like that. So yeah, I would say
Mm.
there's a good one to pick up and give it a punt.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, how would you describe it to a friend that doesn't watch anime? I've got mine on this one. I'm
Oh,
gonna
go on.
say,
I want to hear you do it.
oh, right. Well, I did say like a spaghetti western in space, but the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know if you'll get this reference. I know we're exactly the same age, but have you ever seen it doesn't hold up with a modern audience, but have you ever seen Kung Fu with David Carradine?
Yes, I have.
That's set in space, I think. He travels to
Yeah.
the thing and he's just wandering through with a breeze, has a little story in there, buggers off, pretends to be, yeah. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so how would you describe it?
If I was going to describe it to a friend, I would say, have you ever applied for insurance and wished it was more exciting, more frontier like, more a fight to the death, a duel at sunset on a desert planet? You'll love Trigun.
You sound like the narrator for like a blockbuster film. Have you ever
Great.
applied for insurance?
Have have you ever been applying for car insurance and wished that someone would come through like a human tornado? Enter Vash.
Do you want a giant lady giving you donuts?
Yes! That's all I want in life.
To be fair,
Oh,
same.
speaking of which, can we do snacks now? Because we've got
Yes,
snacks this
yes.
week.
I was gonna remember at some point.
Yeah, yeah. It was the
Because
donuts that reminded me.
yeah, because we both like bait really. Oh, sorry, I'm going northern there. We both like food.
Yeah.
Um, who doesn't?
Scran, snacks, treats.
Yeah. We thought we would each get some Japanese or some different snacks to try while we're recording this.
And also because you can't watch anime without snacks, right?
Yeah, especially with we're both being diabetic.
Yeah. Sometimes if you don't have a snack, it could actually be very dangerous.
Yeah, health and safety, kids.
This really is a matter of survival. What are you going to eat first, though?
So we've each got a big bumper Japanese snack box, and we've narrowed it down to a couple this week. So we've got some pizza balls, which we think are
Who
crisps.
doesn't want bowls?
We've got some mochi cubes.
Yeah, different flavors.
Yeah, I think you have to do that thing. Do you know where the lasses show their nails and they're like,
Oh,
yeah. And then we've got a bag of gelatinous stuff.
I kind of want to start with that because the sensation of squeezing the packet for me has been so tempting.
Do you know what's weird with mine?
So
I can feel a single lump in mine.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I can't feel any lumps. It feels like, you know, those icy gel packs that you get like from the school nurse to like
No,
put on your bag.
we had wet paper towels. I went to school in the north.
So have you seen on Posh Telly?
Telly?
Okay, when you're looking through your rich neighbour's window.
No, yeah.
At Christmas, the one time of the year they spare the electricity to put the telly on. And you see a school child being tended to by a kind but very posh nurse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that once. Oh, so should we just rip open a corner and just
I think that's what the instructions seem to tell us.
Yeah, I mean it's not helpful. Scissors. All of them are in Japanese. They're the instructions.
Well, you can't read them.
No.
But they have got a little picture that helps.
I don't even know. It's green. I'm hoping it's apple and not beans or peas. Did you just lick
the scissors? Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, I'm just gonna use one.
Okay. It's very concentrated orange, is what I'm getting. You're not sure? What does yours taste like? What flavour? This is the most unattractive thing to watch two people eat on.
It's going to sound great on Spotify.
It's going to sound amazing if I should be like, ugh, what? How would you? Let's do some descriptions.
Right. So, I've tasted a couple of Japanese sweets before. And it's kind of like, do you know, LaCroix pop? Whatever it's called. LaCroix. Yeah. Do you know when that tastes like, if you get an apple flavour one of them, it looks like the closest it's been to an apple is it whisked past it on the way out the door. That's what it tastes like, apple-wise.
Yeah, like,
but it's like a...
Its apple dad went out for milk years ago and hasn't ever come back.
Yeah. It's more like a very viscous Capri Sun. Or did you not just knock it back? Go on, do it in a one.
No, because I think I've cut the hole too small.
Story of my life.
I don't know when that would be relevant.
Guess we'll never know.
Let's not. We're not that kind of podcast. Oh, here we go. Now I'm going to knock it back.
Go on. Take a jelly shot. But
What? Oh.
Yeah, I think Phoebe just gave it the of approval. It's all right.
It's all right. It's not offensive.
Yeah.
It's not as concentrated as that first initial of the juice that it's sloshing around in.
Yeah.
The sensation is nice. I like the texture.
Like Graham.
Also gross for people listening to us on Spotify. Just us being like...
Oh, wait. So, enough of this. Well, actually, if you want another snack, just give us a shout.
I'm just going to crack on. I'm just going to crack on with the pizza balls while you ask your next question.
Well, I'm going to wait till you put the crisp right in your mouth and then ask you a question.
Oh, I
That's a
love
good
that.
thing.
Let's do that. That's the dinner party game.
Who was your favourite character in this? In the first 3 episodes, I know you might have sneakily watched a couple more.
You don't know me. I did watch a sneak leak, watch a couple more, but then I rewatched the first 3 episodes so that I could pretend that I only watched the first 3 episodes. I didn't know you were going to call me out like this.
Oh.
So I actually really like Millie and Meryl, and I do feel like they are the main characters in my version of Trigun that I was watching. Oh, that is weirdly tastes exactly like pizza.
Yeah. Not good pizza, but pizza.
No, like the really, really cheap frozen pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind it. It's like a pizza. What's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In ball form.
Yeah. So I loved Millie and Meryl. I actually really love the insurance angle. I thought that was very funny and had lots of potential for lots of jokes. You know, the fact that they're constantly having to be like, we need you to approve this. This is a genuine disaster that's happened to the people. And then like the boss is like, we can't approve all of this. No, I thought it was fun. I thought that was a really fun, and I never thought I would say it to insurance people.
Yeah, exactly.
What I essentially think are insurance underwriters, essentially.
Yeah.
Going around would be so entertaining, but it actually really was, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I was taken by surprise. What about you? What was your favourite bits?
Right. So, my favourite character has got to be Vash. Or, because I am a proper sucker for that happy-go-lucky, carefree guy. But he's like, he has some depth to him. I just love that kind of character. And
the golden
like,
retriever.
yeah, and he's got such a weird angle about him because he is a gunslinger. He's got a special massive gun that his brother, who's called Millions Knives, amazing name, gave him.
Can you imagine rocking up on the playground and being like, "Oh hi, my name's Millions of Knives."
You'd be like, "Oh, who are your parents?" But like, "Oh, I don't know, but there's me brother Vash."
Yeah.
But
sorry, carry on.
oh yeah, he's got this big gun, but he doesn't actually. It is a plot point later on. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
He doesn't. He never intentionally kills anyone, even though he's a very accurate, dangerous gunslinger. I like that kind of twist in it. I'd never seen that before I watched this or that trope before.
And the fact that he's like begging people not to do this.
Yeah.
But I also find that weirdly like a really baller intimidation tactic, because it's like, no, trust me, you really don't want me to do this. Please, I will do anything if you just walk away. Like, I'll give you whatever you want. Don't make me kill you. That's terrifying.
Because there's a couple of them where it's just like big cowboys that are like, "Have you got no pride as a gunman?" He's like, "Nah, not a single bit."
Yeah. I
Don't care,
kind of love that he has zero pride. He's quite like, it will do the embarrassing thing if it means saving a life.
Yeah, and also to call back on so I read I was hoping I could pepper in a couple of cool facts about this. I was looking at before.
Ooh.
But it more relates to the later episodes, so I can't really tell you anything. But I don't know if this is fans kind of making stuff up for the 2025 eyes. But they've kind of tried to justify him being a bit of a lech on the women. They've said, I mean, it's a dead common trope back then, wasn't it?
It was. I think it's just a sign of the times, right? I don't think we need to justify it. And I don't think it can stop you enjoying the show.
Shall I tell you the justification to see?
Oh yeah, tell me the justification, see if it lands. Let
So
me
they're
do my
saying
serious face.
it would be even more serious if you didn't have pizza balls hanging inside your mouth.
They're really stuck in the teeth.
You're like a for the listeners, Phoebe's like a hamster at the minute. She's got about 7 stuck in her mouth. Um, yeah.
That's my
So
favourite way to consume balls. What's your problem?
yes. Anyway, the said that because he's been around for hundreds of years and seen so much like death and destruction and stuff, he uses it because he knows that it's not successful with women. He uses it so people stay away from him. So he kind of wants the opposite effect. I think that's a bit
Yeah, it's a bit.
bullshit.
I think it's a little bit bullshit. That's
Yeah.
like, well, I didn't want to date you anyway.
Yeah. Was it?
You know what I mean? Like, I think he's allowed. I think it's allowed. We're allowed to acknowledge that it's a different time
Yeah.
where this anime was being made. Um,
Yeah.
and and I think it's interesting because in the new Trigun Stampede, that is kind of it's different. There's a different vibe.
Yeah. I noticed that, but
And we don't want to get too into it for this episode. Come back for next week where we'll talk about the new one.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's okay for him to it to just be a little bit problematic, and we can just acknowledge that that is problematic.
Hmm.
Well,
So, since you've seen only the first 3 episodes and that's all
yeah.
you've seen, what do you think the highlights have been and what did you think of the episodes? Overall.
Mm,
Any good points, bad points?
I really liked. I really liked. I actually thought every episode got more exciting as I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so. This because it's very episodic. It can feel like it's not really building anywhere. But because of that pacing, because they kind of kick up the action in each episode, that is
Yeah.
what gives it the pace and the
Mm-hmm.
dynamics, I think. So by the time you get to the third episode, where he's fighting that huge giant guy,
Yes.
and like having to like race across the desert and stuff, that was my favorite. That whole fight sequence was my favorite thing.
Right.
I really enjoyed that bit.
So, I'm rewatching it from years ago. So I'm doing it like a retrospective,
Yeah.
and I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if I hadn't already seen the rest of it. If that makes sense. I think the plot is in the main plot is very slow. It ekes it out tiny bit at a time. It's proper blink if you'll miss it. Like it doesn't explain what plants are properly.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain anything about backgrounds or who people are. It's just like there's Fascist Stampede. He's got a big bounty on him. That's all we know about him. He's getting into bother with bounty hunters.
A huge bounty, $6 million double dollars.
Oh,
Double dollars, Chris.
biggest in the world.
The biggest in the world.
Biggest in the world. But
6 million double D's.
if only.
That's too many. For me, that's too many. That's a terrifying way to die.
Amateur. But there was I'd found out that from the obviously it started off as a manga. From the manga to the original series, this 1998 series, I think it's something like 75% of the episodes are filler, nothing to do with the main story anyway. Like the
Yeah, I can see that.
guy below you with the big ears. I
Mm.
cannot remember his name. He's in the first episode, the bounty hunter there.
And he's the one that everyone mistakes for Vash.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a tall guy with short legs with a red coat and a mohawk, and they think that's him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like funny kind of thing, but yeah. Yeah, he doesn't turn up till later on in the manga for like a tiny little bit. That's it. This is all from what I've read about.
Because
so, right.
I was wondering if it's like I almost feel like this series assumes you've read the manga in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like you say, it doesn't explain anything. It doesn't take time to kind of go into backstory.
Mm.
It just drops you in the middle of a story, and then you spend an episode, and then we go to the next story.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if you had read the manga first, you'd probably have an easier time following it, or like understanding this, or understanding the in-world stakes, like what's at stake for the characters, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing as well. It doesn't really explain the world very much to you, as in
Mm.
the kind of situation. It's called what's it? It's Gunsmoke, is it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know
Uh,
it was called
yeah,
that until you just said it. So
yeah. I think it's mentioned in passing. That's how I know
yeah,
it. I didn't know off the top of my head. I had to look it up as well. But it doesn't really go into the lore very much, which I'm guessing the manga will.
yeah. I assumed it would, but I haven't read the manga either. So we're going at this cold. But I think there is like I don't think you would. I think you might have a deeper appreciation for the world if you'd read the manga and watched all of the series and then kind of were doing a rewatch. I don't think it can stop
Mm,
you from enjoying it. Like I haven't done any of those things and I still had a great time watching it. Um
yeah, yeah,
and actually the things that I think holds up really well is the animation style. Like the design of the characters is very 90s anime. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
classic anime. But the actual animation itself is good enough quality that I think it holds up. It doesn't feel like jilted. It doesn't feel like they're repeating scenes. It feels high quality but classic.
yeah.
So I enjoyed it for that as well.
What did you think of the music?
I love the music.
Did you?
I I thought, sorry, I've got like pizza balls in my throat. Um, I love the music. I loved that. I feel like anime intros don't go on long enough nowadays. What I want is a 2 full minutes of
I
high
remember
energy.
you messaged me because I was just like, "Oh, this music is amazing," and you went, "This intro is on for 2 minutes and so many seconds." I timed it.
Yeah, I've timed it because I was like, this has been going on for a while now.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, um, yeah, and maybe all of our attention spans have kind of grown less forgiving or something. I don't know, but I actually, after the first time, I was like, oh my god, when's this going to end? The second time, I was like, okay, I can get into this. The third time, I was like, yeah, let's go. Like it is, I do love you know me, I love like a really upbeat, high energy anime. And I think I find it exciting. It's like, let's go watch our favorite characters. Woo! What do you because you like the music in the actual because you messaged me about the music in the actual thing as well, in the actual
yeah.
episodes.
I love it, but I like that kind of music. But it's again, I think it's a lot of it's nostalgia. It reminds me
Mm.
of the 90s, being covered in stinky smoke smell, and being at a pub after 9 o'clock while your parents are getting drunk at the bar. Do you know when you've got a pint glass full of cordial and you're like, "Can I go home?" And they're like, "No, no, another hour, be alright."
Do you want a packet of crisps? Will you stay and stop complaining if you have a packet of crisps?
Do some pork scratchings.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It just takes us back. I love it. Even the
yeah.
even the colouring in the middle there of Ash there, it's like that's very old school anime for me.
Yeah, yeah. And the color palette throughout it is actually because you look at like anime that was made at kind of a similar time and it's very technicolor. It's very like kind of 80s color blocking. There's lots of teal, pink, clashing, oranges, blues, like clashing. Whereas with Trigun, I think this is one of the reasons it holds up and feels more classic rather than dated, is it's got like one or two. So red is a big color that pops throughout, and then the rest of the colors in the palette are relatively muted.
Yes, yeah,
You have the landscape colors, but then everyone else is kind of wearing blacks and tans and navy blues, and and like so you get these real pops of color, and it feels, and I think that's kind of stylish. I quite like that, the way that the kind of color palette works together, and I think
yeah,
that yeah. it gives it a very distinct look, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of distinct, right? I've got to mention something. I know I've talked about it before this, but at the end of every episode, they do like a what's coming next, and Vash does like a little spiel where he
Yeah.
does a voiceover where there's like previews of the next episode. It's what do you think of that?
That took me by surprise. And
Yes.
again, feels very that felt nostalgic to me. That felt like, oh my god, we're getting excited to watch this on like Toonami next week vibes that
I
you
think
used
this
to
is
get in all
before
the old
Toonami.
anime. I think it's before Toonami as well. But
Yeah.
it's that kind of like, getting people amped up to come back and watch again next week.
It didn't get
Um,
me amped up.
it was so it kind of came out of the blue. It was a bit. How
It's
did
so
you?
cringy. I
It is.
like.
It's so cringy.
I don't use that word a lot, but it was cringy. He's just like I can't remember. It reminds us of the typical '90s show where like a teenage boy's narrating why a girl doesn't like him or something.
Malcolm in the Middle intros.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Bit less fourth
yeah,
wall breaky, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. And actually, maybe if it was a bit more fourth wall breaky, it would be less cringy because it'd be more
Yeah.
knowing. Whereas because it's not, it's very earnest, and that makes it feel more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think when we watched it, you were like, "Oh no," and I was not yet getting to that point of it.
Yeah.
So like, I got this message from you, and I was like, "What's Chris talking about?" And then it hit, and I was like, "Oh,
I
oh,
totally forgot about it because
this is
obviously
what Chris is talking about."
I had me rose tinted glasses on, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, everything about Trigun's amazing." Oh wait a second.
Oh no. But it can't be perfect. If it was perfect, it wouldn't be real and gritty. Sometimes you need a little crack or two to,
Oh, do you know what
you
it
know.
is? I don't think it brings down the whole series. I think it's one of them things where it's just like, can you remember where people used to have like wallet chains, and like if people wore them now, you'd be like, What's he doing?" But I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah.
I used to wear one as a 12-year-old.
I love a wallet chain. I'd wear a wallet chain now just to stop myself losing my purse. What
I
I
used to
need is
have one, and I
a
didn't have a
phone
wallet.
chain.
Phone chain.
Yeah, so instead of it having your wallet on the end, you have your phone on the end, so then you stop dropping it.
I forgot women don't have pockets, do they?
No, 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 we're not
Oh,
allowed them. Can't be trusted.
true,
Um,
true. Not after last
I
time.
think I think I think the patriarchy is worried we might try and organise or something if we've got space to put notes.
I think it's so you can't hold votes and stuff in your pants. Something dangerous like that.
Yeah, yeah, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid we put a book in there.
Oh, oh, sorry, I got all hot under the collar there. Just the thought.
Just the thought of a woman educating oneself. Yeah.
If I had pills, I'd be clutching them.
But here's something that I thought was interesting. So while we're on the kind of gender politics,
Mm.
jokingly gender politics, right? So Vash, we've talked a bit about it. Vash does hit on every woman that he
Mm-hmm.
sees, except for Millie and Meryl.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't hit on them. They're just his friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but none of the characters are dressed in like very provocative. Like there's no short shorts. There's no like big cleavage. Like all the clothing feels like period Western clothing. And feels post apocalyptic. So it's weird. It's got a
Yeah.
weird juxtaposition where actually a lot of the female characters, apart from like men hitting on them, are not really that sexualized. I don't think.
No, I agree.
And actually, I think that kind of it keeps it on the okay side of rewatching it. Do you know what I mean? Because if they were
But
all walking around,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Babs hanging out and everything.
mm. then it becomes even worse when the guys, for some reason, I don't know, because it feels like it's just a male fantasy that someone's drawn in their
Yeah.
mum's
I don't know if a
basement.
couple of them, the ankles were showing or something. I don't know.
Oh, oh, I must have looked away out of modesty.
But yeah, you're right. None of them are like scantily clad. Most of them,
No.
well, besides the gang members or the bounty hunters, not they're dressed relatively normal. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And everyone's dressed kind of normally. And I kind of, it's, yeah, it, because of that, it feels like like the female characters are treated as characters. They're not treated as like fodder,
yeah,
if that makes
yeah.
sense. And I think you do, even the kind of love interest, like Vash's love interest in is it episode 3 in the mansion?
Two.
Was that episode 2?
Yeah.
Episode 2 in the mansion. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is like a fully realized female character. She's got motivations of her own. She's got like desires and wants, and
Very much shuts
will
them down as well.
will act in the world without the, do you know, like I think it would still pass a what's it called, Bechdel test, I think, in a way
Yes,
that some
that's a
animes
test
wouldn't.
where a woman speaks to a man, not about a man, or a woman speaks to a
A
woman,
woman
something
has to
like that.
have a whole conversation with another woman that isn't about a man.
Right, right.
And I think that easily passes. And I think Meryl and Millie are great examples of
Yeah,
characters who like hold their own storyline in this.
they
Um,
do. I'm a bit disappointed how they're not featured a lot in the later episodes
oh,
of
don't
the
break my
original.
heart. Maybe I don't want to watch it, the rest of it. No, I actually do. I am going to probably finish this one.
One of them gets in a relationship though, a healthy one.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah,
We love non-toxic, healthy relationships. That's
for a little
cute.
bit.
I'm going to have
Yeah,
another snack.
yeah. I've been slyly opening the mochi cubes. The
Oh
nice
yeah,
little
yeah,
big
that's what I
ones.
was gonna go for. Oh yeah, look at that.
So you get a little toothpick in there.
You get a little toothpick with them.
But while you're
Ooh.
opening that, right? Oh, these are
So
hard.
for the people Spotifying, these are like little cubes of something we don't know, but they come with a toothpick and they're teeny tiny.
They're quite nice, actually. But while you're feasting on that tiny cube, do you
Cubes
think
of
it
food.
holds up in 2025 eyes? As in, do you think a person who won't have grew up in the 90s, say they grew up in
Yeah.
2005 and the 20, ugh, do you
And
think they would
they've got
have
their
any
whole
problems?
lives ahead of them.
Ugh, youth.
All those hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Do you think they would be okay watching this with 2025 eyes?
Mm. I wouldn't be recommending it to them, I have to say. I'd
No?
be recommending the newest one.
But say, just regarding the new one, what are
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
reasons
you're right. We
why
should
you
be disregarding the new one.
like? Why wouldn't you recommend this one?
I wonder if it can stand up to some of the modern anime that's out there. I
Hmm.
think because the pace is, for being episodic, for being shorter stories contained within one larger arc,
Yeah,
the pace is relatively slow,
yeah,
I think, compared to anime that you be seeing being made now. That makes sense? Is that a sentence?
all that newfangled anime.
All that newfangled anime. Um, yeah, I think compared to stuff that's being put out now, it is a lot slower.
Hmm.
And I wonder if, and even, even though I think the animation style's lovely, I wonder if people who are used to very glossy, very slick animation styles would
Hmm.
find something that's a bit more desaturated, a bit like, yeah, a bit more still, if they would find that interesting.
Yeah.
And it would depend. I think if I came across a youth,
Yeah.
first of all, I'd be like, "What are you doing? I don't hang out with youths. Why are you in my flat?" And then
Where's
I'd
Chris
be like,
Hansen?
yeah. And then I get talking to them, and I'm like, "Oh, they're really into anime." I think if they were really into anime, I would say give Trigun a go, if only because I think it sets a lot of precedents for anime today, and I think anime today kind of, and like, don't watch it because you owe it something, but watch
Hmm.
it because you can see where some ideas started from.
Yeah.
So I think if you were talking to a proper anime nerd, I'd recommend it. But for someone who was just like wanted something that was fun and light and uh pacey, I would hesitate before recommending it, if I'm really honest,
Yeah.
especially without a nostalgia factor.
So that's exactly my thought.
Was
To be
it?
fair, I
I
was
felt
gonna
bad because I
say
know this is one of your favorites, so I was like, "Oh,
no. So before then, I would have been like, oh no, I'd recommend this to anyone to watch. But rewatching it, I'm like,
mm,
I really like it. I like that. As I said, because I've seen the whole series, I know it
mm,
gets better after 3 episodes,
yeah,
and the pace does pick up. Different stories happen, more action. But based on those 3 episodes alone, I wouldn't. I would say it's
mm,
too slow. It's a bit outdated in the end narration. Some of the dialogue, um, and yeah, I don't think it would be very good for a modern audience, and I wouldn't recommend it.
mm."
But if it was someone like you who has seen
So
stuff like this
young and
before,
youthful.
I was going to say like not young, but someone who's been around a bit, I would
Yeah,
say
fair.
definitely watch it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think also, I think it's hard telling someone, "Look, stick with it, get past the first 3 episodes and the pace will pick up." But I do think that 3rd episode is what kept me in it, because I was like, I can feel something building.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would probably say, if you're gonna recommend it, try 3 episodes, see where you land.
Well,
Um,
that's why I always say do the 3 episode rule. I've always had
yeah.
it where because there's some anime like this who have a pretty slow start or a rocky start, and then you're like, actually, I feel something coming, and then go on it. But that's why I was gonna ask next. Will you be watching past
Alright,
episode 3?
what? Because I could feel something coming.
Yeah, but would you? Ugh, I know you have as well. So is there any point
Oh, yeah.
asking you?
If I was someone who had a problem with following instructions and maybe had already watched past episode 3,
It's fine.
um, yeah, I actually am glad that I would say, yeah, give it a go. Give 3 episodes a go and see if it's tickling your fancy, and see if you can, and see if the pace doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind the slower pace and the slow build, I think you get rewarded by this anime.
What episode are you up to?
I'm on like, episode 7 or something.
7. All right.
If
Wolf.
if if I was the kind of person,
Oh well, but
no, I
if
got.
you were the person to keep going,
Mm,
Wolfwood comes in at episode 9, I think.
I actually think I'm further along than I've just admitted, because I have seen the first Wolfwood episode,
Right. No,
and he is a great character. Like, if he was like, he
yes.
steals the show. Great
Mm-hmm.
character, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'll not say what happens, but
No, no,
yeah.
no, no spoilers. No spoiler alerts.
Oh yes. Right.
Uh
Final
huh.
question
Okay,
is
that's good because I'm nearly on my last mochi sweet.
I've
So great
well and
timing.
truly done all there been. Actually, it's two. Where do you want it to go, and what do you want to happen? Bear in mind, before you answer this, pretend you haven't seen the new series.
Yeah. Well, genuinely, even having
Yeah.
seen the new series, I want to see more about the story between the two brothers, because at this point in like you've got a hint that they hate each other
Hmm.
and that they're after each other, but you don't know why. And that I feel like is the most compelling mystery of all of this is what's going on. What's going on with a million nerves?
Millionaires.
Why is he so sad other than the fact that he's been named a million nerves? Um, and
Yeah.
also, like, he's so OP compared to Vash. So, like, what's that about? And they have two very different views on things. And at this point, Vash is also like furious at Million Knives for having done something,
Yeah.
and you don't know what. And like, you need to. That's one of the reasons I want to stick with it. I want to see that story play out and find out what's gone down to lead them to this point.
I think it is such a good payoff when you get to the end. It's one of them. It gets really dark,
Mm.
and then you'll have to watch it. I can't say anything without giving it away. But yeah, now we're
That's
on to
fun.
now. Yeah, now we're on to what we're doing next week.
Oh, well, we've kind of already talked about it.
I know. I know.
But
We've already
next
spoiled,
week,
haven't we?
yeah, yeah. So the fun of this is that I had seen the new one, and
Yeah.
you hadn't.
Yeah.
And having never seen the original Trigun, and
Hmm.
having watched the new one with someone who was like adored the original Trigun, um, I was coming in cold, and also doing that thing where someone keeps recommending something, and you're like, I'll watch this out of obligation at this point because you keep
Yeah.
recommending it. But then was like won over so quick. Like I was very excited after the first episode. So
Right.
I'm very excited for you to watch the first 3 episodes
Hmm.
of the Trigun Stampede,
So am I. So am I, to
which
be
is the
fair.
reboot. And
Yeah.
in this reboot, it starts off, you meet them like at a slightly earlier stage in life. Some of the characters are different. It
Right.
is truly a reboot. It's not like a faithful recreation.
Hmm.
They've taken the story and they've adapted it and twisted it and made something
Ooh.
that I think is quite special. So that's what we will be doing next week. No
Amazing.
pressure.
No, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah.
We might actually be wearing the same clothes and everything next week.
We might, because we might have already watched it and just be filming this back to back because someone's got to go on holiday to somewhere fancy. So
Phoebe's going to Brighton.
it's not a holiday, but it's your hometown. uh, so
But
yeah, that's
yes,
what we'll be doing next week.
I think that's us for this week. So to be honest, if you can give us your opinions of the original anime series, you might have already watched the new one. Maybe in the same situation as me or Phoebe, watch the old one, not the new one, but the old one. But leave a comment below. Um,
Yeah.
and we've got loads of other nerdy things going on. We've got the YouTube, we've got the Facebook, we've got Discord, we've got loads of series, Monsters Up North, we've got Top Grumps, we've got articles on the website.
Yeah.
Just check out, type Nerdy Up North in Google, everything comes up.
Yeah. And come and chat with us. The Discord is such a fun place and such a
Hmm.
great place where if you want to chat a bit more about anime or make some recommendations and just like bug Kris and I to do like your favorite series, come
Yeah.
join us. We're a friendly bunch.
To be fair, I think eventually we'll
You don't
probably
even have to be northern.
no, it helps so to understand, but
It cuts down the amount of time you need to like get up to speed with the slang for sure.
my voice is actually running through a Google Translator for Phoebe to understand us.
It's like the universal translators on Star Trek.
Oh, I thought about the earworm thing, Babblefish.
Oh yeah, from Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, till next time. Bye.
See you later.
I love you.